Hmm. Wow. So back again. Um, yeah, I got a lot going on um, in my mind, ideas and stuff. If I can find like-minded people, that'd be really cool. What I wanted to do is start the next Amazon, but not to make money. Like, I've kind of maybe got a fatal flaw. I'm just not really interested in it. Well, I am sort of interested in having a lot of money. That would be nice, but not personally. It seems like, from my observation, that money is sort of a big disorder. I mean, it doesn't matter how much, what kind of person you are. Eventually, if you get lots of money, you change, right? You change, and I know, for example, some Chinese people that I have a lot of respect for that became very rich, and they would probably say the same thing. Yeah, ultimately I changed. Yeah. Now, when I became a millionaire or something like that, they would still argue with me and say, "You're doing all this work. You're doing like computer animation. It's very labor intensive. Gotta stop that." I'd be like, "Well, I've done this all my life. Why should I stop it? I want to get better at it." And they're like, "No. Well, the thing about it is if you do something labor intensive like that, you don't have any time to make money. If you're always working, yeah, you don't have time to make money." And it's like, yeah, they focused on getting passive income going and stuff. And they give me the idea of that money is has a different degree of value according to how it's earned, right? So, and I guess I've kind of listened to audio of executive MBA courses. I've taken the audio courses and stuff. Um, get a little bit of it. Uh, I think it's called opportunity cost or something like that. It's like if you're doing something, you lose the opportunity to do something else or something like that. I forget the definition of it, but my Chinese millionaire friends would be like, "Yeah, yeah, movies? No, don't ever get into the business of movie making. No." And or computer animation or labor intensive stuff like that. And one characterization that I thought was very interesting. I never got into filmmaking um, to be famous. In fact, my first serious kind of animation history of animation teacher in the communication graduate program that I was in was like, "Look, guys, you guys are film and video students and stuff like that. You need to talk about animation." And he was like, started asking questions. Like, well, who did the animation on uh, Yellow Submarine? Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, we know that. That's Peter Max. Peter Max." It's like, no, it's not. And I was like, "Well, wasn't like the Popeye?" He was like, "Yeah, who did Popeye? Who drew it and stuff like that?" It's Elsie Chrysler Cigar and Adolf Zukor, I'd say. He's like, those guys didn't do any of that work. Their name was on it, yeah. and it, but the thing that he pointed out was that he went down all these animations and nobody knew who actually did the work to make animations, except like maybe Winsor McKay or something like that, because they'd been in film school. They knew Winsor McKay did the Gertie the dinosaur, because it was a carnival act to do animation, right? It was a carnival routine. You had to draw really really fast, and he could do it really really. Winsor McKay, so he did it. He did it. But if he was like, you should go into animation because you really want to do it. You're really into it or something like that. And he privily said to me, he's like, stay here. He said, you should stay here if you want to end up like me talking about people who make animation. But he said, you're making animation already, and you should just go and make it if you want to be somebody that makes it. But stay in academia if you never actually want to make it. Yeah. So I did. Yeah, and my animation teacher at Georgia State University, yeah, to me it was like a complete fraud. He had no animation credentials whatsoever. It's like a chemistry PhD, which is that's awesome. Chemistry, well, I guess if it's not a fake degree that he bought somewhere, but you know, he was writing all this theory. It was like the beginning of the web. It's like the first websites are being made. He was like writing all these theoretical papers in computer science on the way a web page should look. And why, the theory behind it and everything like that. And he's talking about, well, it's got to be like a book, and it's got to be, we have to, what every web page should emulate like what it looks like on paper. And just fraud guy, just making stuff up. And I took several classes with him, and he was just like a complete fraud. And uh, he had a textbook on VRML. That was going to be the big thing. We all needed, any degreed professional should be, you know, profound expert on VRML because that's taken over and stuff like that. And he didn't even know that you could export VRML animations to from 3 Studio Max, right? And do you could do some pretty good stuff with VRML. That's another thing I'd like to bring back is get all the ancient VRML stuff and see if something can be done. That would run on really old machines. That's like cool animation or something like that that could be exported. But you'd have to go and get, you know, I remember a time I was there when 3 Studio Max was ported from DOS to Windows. Right, it was a big thing. And when Lightscape, which you probably don't know what Lightscape was, but uh, at one time Lightscape was an application that ran on Unix machines that it was the best architectural rendering thing that you could get, and you could still, with the kind of memory that we have these days, it seems like we should revive. Uh, um, that's another thing. I should get Lightscape running on virtual machines and see how fast it will go. Because I think I've got it around somewhere. Um, but it's we taught big classes on Lightscape, and Lightscape was just canceled. Autodesk bought it. It was ported from Unix to Windows, and they sold it to a lot of customers. And then they said, well, this is only a couple $100. We want to sell them $5,000 seats of 3 Studio Max, right? So they made this bogus knockoff piece of crap Radiosity thing for 3 Studio Max. And I was doing, well, actually my official job with Autodesk resellers, worked with two big regional Autodesk resellers, was training people for the resellers examination, because Autodesk required people that sold the product to pass a test when it was released before they could sell it, be authorized dealers of it. I don't know if they still do that or not. They might, but I got asked to do technical support, and I mean, it was a disgrace. When Autodesk ended Lightscape, you had a lot of companies around the region calling up screaming. They're like, we paid more for less. And, I would get calls and I would be like, actually, I'm at a photography conference. I was doing conference photography with my brother, and I would get technical support calls for Lightscape, which theoretically I could get paid for, but I'm like, I can't help you with your Autodesk problem because I don't have a computer running, and the guy they were pissed. um, but you can like what you can do. A thing that you can do in Lightscape that's pretty cool is create render to texture. You can store the lighting data in the material, um, so you're not doing lighting simulation in real time. And unfortunately, I had a lot of assets that I had done that way, where you could render fantastic stuff almost. Um, there was nothing faster. Like once you got the all the radiosity information rendered in, you could do your architectural rendering, and it would just like pop, 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 pop on a pen. The frames would render off on a Pentium dual core. It was amazing how fast it was. Nothing could go that fast. But what I was going to say is I went to Lennon Lab, and like the guy I was talking about at Georgia State, here's a guy. He's an academic. He's got a PhD, right? And he sees this opportunity to get involved in computer science and likes to fiddle around with stuff. And there are these big computer graphics conferences, and he wants to travel around, and you know, and he's down here in Georgia where the politicians are just like the bar is so low. Like if you're from Georgia, think, and you're a politician or something like that, your science level, your mathematics level, may be non-existent. We are so far behind. Right? So here's this guy. Nobody can tell he's cheating them, right? And I'm like, I'm working 60 hours a week. I'm doing closed circuit television production for the Robinson College of Business, 60 hours a week, right? And then I'm going to night school to your class, right? And you can't even operate the software. First time I handed in a homework project, it's like F, fail. You copied that off the internet. You didn't do it yourself. Well, the unfortunate thing was is that since I was a trainer for the computer center at Georgia State, when I made the entire project, I was using Camtasia and I recorded all my work. So I had to go to the. I'm like, I'm working 60 hours a week. I'm going to night school. I'm poor, right? I had a $10,000 student loan because of George Bush Sr., the education president, who defunded the Pell Grant. It's like he won the election on the platform that he was the education president because he made me eligible for more Pell Grant funding as a poor person. But then when he got into office, he defunded the Pell Grant. So he was the education president because he made me eligible for money that wasn't there. Right? So at the end of my degree, I ended up stuck with a $10,000 bill. It really changed the course of my life, it really did. And so I'm struggling. I'm trying to go to night school, and here's this guy. I don't know where that Owen guy was from, but an absolute transparent fraud. I don't know. Somebody proved me wrong. I mean, um, and it's okay. I needed to know that he was a phony because I ended up going into well, here's the situation. I'm doing closed circuit television production for the Robinson College of Business, producing all their animation, advanced rigging. I'm a trainer for Autodesk reseller, right? You think I can't walk into your classroom and see that you don't know how to use an Autodesk application? And you're hitting, one thing he would do is he did this 2 classes running, go into a class and he hit the keyboard, doesn't know what he's doing, hits a shortcut, and he puts 3D Studio Max into expert mode. And he's like, the computer is broken or something, this crap, The second time, and I didn't say anything, I was like, well, he sure is arrogant and stuff. If I help him, he might, be mean to me. It was true, Yeah, sometimes you can read people like that. They're like, yeah, I can tell, right? Because the second time I went to his class and he did the same thing again. And he was like, basically, now I'm just not going to have a class and I'm just going to bullshit about graphics. Um, because I hit the expert mode keyboard shortcut, and I was like, "Let me just help you." And I was like, "Duh," like that, and then he scowled at me. Yeah, a couple reasons. It's like, okay, I've got to maybe he did put it in expert mode because he knew, and he was like, "No, I don't think so. I think actually, yeah, he accidentally put it in expert mode." But when he had already made up his mind that he was just going to bullshit his way through the class, and I said, "Oh, I'll fix it," Pop, and I hit the keyboard. He's like, "You made me look bad," or sort of, took a negative attitude toward me. And yeah, he's a kind of professor. He's like, the absolute worst time to talk to me is before class or after class. Man, I'm busy. You know that. I'm poor. I'm trying to get an advanced degree, so I have a better chance at being a marriageable bachelor or something like that. So I'm just not the lowest of the low. I was given a math degree by Georgia State University, and I just scoff at it. I don't think they're some of the biggest mathematicians of my lifetime. In particular, what is it? Paul Erdos or Erdos or Erdos or whatever. Can't read a single. His mathematics is at 11. I was given a degree in mathematics, and the biggest mathematicians of our time. I can't remember. I never published a paper. Right? Is that not just collecting money? And then, well, if you stay here in Georgia, then we'll have something for you, computer repair or something like that. Yeah, but you got to go out into the job, play the game and everything. Discriminate against minorities and stuff. For white people, that was a big thing. But yeah, I'm not. At the time, I was kind of upset because he gave us a homework assignment in 3D Studio Max, and I worked on it really hard. And he was like, "You didn't do this. F. You downloaded it from the internet. You know, you got an F." And I'm like, "Oh boy, this is the first time I've been accused of plagiarism. Good thing I made a Camtasia recording of every single bit of it, right?" And I had to go to the chairman of the department. So, well, he gave me an F, and he said I didn't do it. Here's all the recordings of me doing it. I did it. And I just like after the talk with the chairman, I just dropped the class. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time. In that hour, I could have picked up the manual for 3 Studio Max and for the latest. And these were thick manuals that would come out, and I had to train people for the resellers exam when they came out. It's like that's how I got into zero day, right? And I always suspected that Autodesk was behind zero day wares, because it was only because I had zero day that I was so good at helping people get the resellers exam because I had the software before even the dealers had it. Um, it's dumb, man. You want look, if you got people that need work and are willing to learn the software, they're working for you already for free, uh, for nothing. Learning your software, you should make it where they can get it, because that software, yeah. has a limited life. Mm. But I was thinking, well, I was in China, and what you find in the Chinese animation industry is a lot of exploitation. I didn't get to say this, but a Chinese lady, a wealthy Chinese lady, was like, "Well, computer animation and filmmaking and stuff is sort of like the gambling business and the prostitution business." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Well, it's a very risky, you know, but you can get a lot of money for nothing really fast, but you can also lose a lot really fast. You can lose everything really fast." Um, and yeah, I was noticing that when I finally went to an American studio in Beijing, a producer would come in and he'd want to have sex with the female employees, you know. And the way it was rigged, the way it was set up, it's like if you're in Beijing, you're supposed to hire people in Beijing first, according to the law, right? But the Chinese, but because they're behind on animation and the technology stuff, and they do the same thing with Japan and stuff like that. They let the Japanese, for example, when I was there, they let the Japanese come in and do their worst, you know, exploit the people until there's some unrest, right? And then the government would step in and say, we're shutting you down. If you want to operate your plant here in China, you're going to have to double everybody's salary. And they had to do it, right? China, um, people need to appreciate, if you can appreciate, a Jewish person can appreciate the Holocaust. Right? That's nothing. The Chinese had much worse. Right? The First and Second Opium Wars, the Taiping Rebellion, the Opium Wars. First of all, China was under control of the Qing dynasty. That's a Manchurian ethnic group that invaded the country, took down the last Chinese dynasty, right? So China's totally imperially subjugated, but then their imperial subjugator was further subjugated by the English, who are like, we got too many people in India. We want them to die, right? So we're going to grow opium instead of food, right? But we need a market to sell the opium, and Chinese products are better since Chinese people are producing better art, better furniture, all this stuff. You know, we get a net loss of silver going into England. So during that turn of the century period or whatever, when they said the Civil War in the United States is the worst war in history, that's ridiculous, man. So many Chinese people died, 70 million, and the United States, that's just a bunch of communist propaganda. It's very revealing the Western attitudes about what happened, um, because before uh, World War II, when Japan, it's like what the major aspect of the leadership of all these people that were like invading China and selling opium in China, the British Empire, and everything like that, and the United States cooperating to put down the Boxer Rebellion and all that stuff. Um, they were they wanted to get control of the resources, and some of them justified that they were like, well, the Chinese, since they're not industrialized, they should not industrialize based on the Ricardo comparative advantage economic theory. They'll lower global prosperity, right? So if Chinese people try to modernize, right, it's going to make the world poor be poorer. So we need to kill everybody, to save the world and make the world a prosperous place, right? Now, and some people, that were involved in it, They really were sold on that idea. These guys are bad. They shouldn't be allowed to do this. Because it's going to lower the overall. Because comparative advantage shows that comparative advantage is bullshit. And of course, people that were stood to gain by, oh, you're going to play the game like that. Okay, well, we're going to, in the background, like England, we're going to industrialize even more to keep ourselves ahead and continue to attack and devastate all of Africa and devastate all these other countries and devastate China and stuff like that. So Jews, and myself included, because when I was growing up, um, we weren't tagged as Jewish until um, um, my sister was married, and since her husband was from Poland, all of a sudden I was just like attacked on all sides by all the quote unquote John Birch Society, people that were all around. They're not, listen, they're anti-Semitic, right? Communism is just the code word that they use for Jews. After they know it's safe, they're going to tell you, well, you see, Karl Marx is a Jew, and they're racially inferior people, and they're trying to foist themselves on civilization as being more advanced, right? And they want to encourage intermarriage and multiculturalism and stuff like that to mongrelize the white racial purity, right? And then they say things like, and I'm an eyewitness to this because I had people trying to reason with me. Don't you see it? That's what they would tell me. Uh, and my sister's husband. I mean, he was like a father to me. And he was not the kind of person that was like, get out of here, kid, you bother me. He was like, well, I'm getting an electrical engineering degree, and I've got to sit in here and do these problems all night. But uh, you can sit in here with me and hang out. If you get really bored, here's a girly magazine or something. I loved it. I was never treated better. But my friends in the neighborhood down here in Atlanta and stuff like that were like, he's a Jew. He's commie. Well, maybe he was a Jew commie, right? But Karl Marx, I challenge you. Read. I sat down recently, and I said I can't read the entire works of Karl Marx. I can't read the entire works of Maimonides. It's a big job. But I sat down and I went through audio and stuff like that. 20 hours I allotted for Karl Marx. He's totally Hellenized. He's totally a product of the Protestant Reformation. He was like, when you read, I challenge you, sit down and I think he mentioned Spinoza like once, Engels. And when Karl Marx refers to Jesus, he refers to him as Christ. Right? He's supposed to be a Jew, a Jew, a Jew. They were assimilated. They were a product of the Protestant Reformation, and really, I make the case about this. It's like with the collapse of the Roman Empire and the plague of Justinian and the rise of Islam. For a long time, the people were stepping up to the plate. We're going to be the Romans. The Czar, like in Russia, the Czar means Caesar, right? It was like these tribal groups or whatever like that. The Vikings and stuff had started a civilization there in Russia. The Czar. And Germany was like, no, it's us. We're the Kaiser, right? Caesar, that's what it is. We're stepping in. We're the Roman Empire. And you had the Pope in Rome. The office of the Pope in Rome is the Pontifex Maximus or whatever. That's an office of the Roman government, the last surviving office of a defunct empire that was wiped out by the bubonic plague, the plague of Justinian. Right now, the Julius Caesar, for example, held the office of Pope. People don't realize that. um, but you've got this situation there where for a long time people were like, "This is how the world is. There's heaven, there's hell. Jews are a problem, Muslims are a problem, or whatever. They don't believe right, they don't think right. We're still dealing with it, still going on. But the fact of the matter is, when the Catholic Church split with the Orthodox Church, the sky didn't fall, and it was like the cracks were beginning to show. I mean, they held extremely power over life and death, and they picked kings. The church was very powerful, very very powerful, and yeah, a big aspect of it. The Orthodox Catholic Church, of course, says, well, the Catholics are wrong, and so they're all excommunicated, and all Catholics go to hell. Yeah, or according to Orthodox, because they don't believe right, and likewise the Catholic Church went through this thing of like, well, everybody who's Orthodox is going to hell, and so and the world's ending. Of course, the whole, because Christianity emerged out of Jewish apocalypticism, they were convinced that the world was going to end, right? And there were a lot of Greeks that were like, "This is a bad religion because if everybody's always thinking the world's about to end tomorrow, you know, it's bad. It has a negative overall impact on the advance of human life and human civilization. It has. It's been a great disaster. But and the colossal waste of time, people memorizing all this complicated hoodoo that they have to do so they don't get burned in hell by billions of devils throughout eternity or whatever. And they're going, the world's going to end and all this stuff like that. Well, it didn't end, and I'm getting to a point here. The way of seeing communism and fascism is like in the Romantic period, all of a sudden, well, the church broke up, and then not only did the church break up into Orthodox and Catholic, but then in the Romantic period, the Protestant Reformation happened, right? And everybody was like, man, before that, they would kill people, very quickly to forestall, the the victory of Satan over the planet or whatever. And so it has big Protestant Reformation, the church fragmented. Now there's like 27,000 Christian churches, and the world still hasn't ended. It's getting closer and closer, no thanks to Christian apocalypticism. But a way of seeing fascism is and communism as they emerged is when people just didn't buy it anymore. There's forward momentum in the barbaric kind of behavior that people engage in. Right? There's real forward momentum in that. So when the rationale could no longer be supported, the religious rationale in the wake of the great intellectual ferment of the Protestant Reformation and the Romantic period, where you had a big revival of people's idea of their own ancient cultures and stuff like that. A lot of interest arising in what survived of knowledge of original European culture and original European religions. Grimm's fairy tales, for example, is an example of the effort to recover stuff before it was lost forever. So my ultimate big point is that people, you can observe that people form groups, nations, right, and they're institutions of violence, and when there's a resource shortage, they attack each other relentlessly, and there's massive slaughter. Well, observers of rats notice that rats do the same thing, right? That if you have two stable rat communities, if you take one from one community and you drop it in the other community, they kill it. They can tell it's not, a Nazi because of it doesn't, the pee doesn't smell like Nazi pee, and so they kill it, right? Um, which is odd, right? Okay. Then say you take the another thing that they observed: if you have two stable rat communities and you put them in the same enclosure, they go to war with each other until the last um, uh, of one side or the other is killed to the very last, right? This is an observation. I've got a punchline with this too. A couple of punchlines to this. They were doing that. These scientists were making these observations, and one scientist, or quote unquote scientist, kind of pseudoscientist or whatever, he was like, "Wow, you get some parallels with our civilization. That we form into these nation states, and then we have things like crusades and stuff. Really just gets everybody killed, and it's a big disaster and everything like that. And if this rat, if what we're doing is um, basically for some reason deeply, instinctively, subconsciously, this is a natural response to a resource crisis, and the kind of behavior is prevalent because it's been so successful, then this whole linguistic construct, fascism, communism, orthodoxy versus Roman Catholicism, these are all linguistic constructs that create a rationale for something that people were going to do anyway. Right now, how would it function to make it become prevalent? Well, when you get into the considering rat behavior and this violent behavior that you get with rat communities or whatever, how they relentlessly it seems so dysfunctional and stuff. Well, picture in your mind, when would a rat colony become mobile and move in a resource crisis? All right, if do you think that friendly intercourse between other colonies is in the long term going to be prevalent? If there's a resource crisis, you need a reduction in population, right? You get a better chance of survival, right? So it may be that um, um, the resource crises, and really resource crises that are man-made, right, precipitate this attitude of like we need violence or something like that. Now, my punchline is that this particular scientist, quote unquote scientist, I was introduced. Has so many funny aspects. I was introduced to his work by an advocate for nonviolence, a Buddhist, an American Buddhist. Uh, and the volume that he gave me was known as On Aggression, and on the blurb it was like, this is Conrad Lorenz. He's the founder. He's of the study of ethics, ethology, right, and ethical behavior. And so that's where you're getting this stuff from. Now he's not considered by someone like a biologist today would say all this that he's come up with is crap. But he has made, I think, some valuable observations. But the real punchline is that he was a member of the Nazi Party, and he swore allegiance to the Nazi Party, and in return, during the Nazi regime, had a very high level academic position, right? And this kind of fell by, people were kind of in the business of the United States. There was this whole thing of the United States was basically the model for the Nazis. The English and America, the Australians were, in particular though, England. The Nazis were like, you're the greatest. You are the the superior. The Nazism is like, we're gonna just try to be more like you, right? More like Americans, right? So you get this phenomena in the United States where a lot of these guys are like, well, yeah, we really believed in Nazism, but things just got, unfortunately, we've got to back up and try to build up our movement again. Uh, so a lot of Nazis were rehabilitated, in particular, Operation Paperclip. I'd take my word for it. A lot of Nazi scientists were brought to the United States. Uh, didn't want the Russians to get them, um, and I'm sure there's an element of this on the Russian side too. Yeah, but oh, What was I doing in China? I was working for Sichuan Fine Arts Institute. Are you still there, Jude? I'm sorry. I just saw that. And I didn't hear a chime. I don't know why. On Streamlabs, sometimes I hear a chime. Gosh, I've probably been talking for ages, and she's probably already gone. She's still there. I don't know. Um, yeah, I was in 2005 February. I left. I was doing computer animation in China. Incidentally, I illegally taught English. Uh, but there's a saying in China. It's like when when you go to China and you've got your paperwork or whatever. I was not authorized to do anything but teach computer courses and web development and computer graphics and graphic design. So I taught the Photoshop suite, and I taught well, not Photoshop suite, but I taught Illustrator, I taught Photoshop, I taught Premiere, um, I taught Final Cut Pro, I taught Maya, I taught 3D Studio Max. I did game development under an application called Dassault Virtuals, which is no longer in use. Also, Lightscape. I taught architectural rendering and animation with Lightscape, and I taught 3D Studio Max and taught a lot of particle simulator stuff, different plugins and stuff like that. That's what I was doing. And interestingly, and I should mention this, um, the head of the animation department, he he took me in his office at one point. He said, "Would you?" I just want to, he's like, "This is the first time. This is the first time we've had somebody that can speak Chinese from like a real American grew up over there and stuff. Would you be willing to teach propaganda?" I was I was like, "Yeah, I need to fit. I need. Well, they use a word, 宣传, right? Which is in Chinese. Uh, yeah, it means propaganda." And he's like, "We've got the worst propaganda." He's like, "We tell the truth and nobody believes us. Even no," he said, "even when we tell the truth." So he acknowledged that, yeah, sometimes we're doing propaganda and we're lying, right? And uh, he says, "Even when we tell the truth, people don't believe it. Our propaganda is lousy." And he was like, "Would you?" I was like, "Wow, I could be at a major college. I could teach propaganda to graduate students." And I had been in a graduate program in communication, but I didn't put that on my resume. I was like so ashamed of it. I was like, this. And people in China too, they're like, you could say Emory or you could say Georgia Tech, right? But if you say some college in Georgia, right, automatically Chinese people are like, this guy doesn't know anything. So when I was hired, it was because I had notarized credentials from Autodesk resellers saying this guy is a computer animation professional that works for Autodesk resellers and training for reseller examinations. Right, so that was my credential that got me a teaching post um, in China, and I was supposed to teach in the Chinese language. But when you get there, uh, of course, people are like, "Hey, can you teach my son, or could you teach some English on the side?" And it might be a military guy, you know, and you're like, "Man, I could go to jail or whatever for violating." Yeah, you could go to jail in China for but they have a saying, uh, "Heaven is high and the emperor is far away." So if you're in a remote, well, I was in Southwest China, and a military, like a major in the PLA says, "I want you to teach an English class." I'm not legally allowed to teach an English class. Yeah, that's when a person will say, "Well, there's no help for it. You're going to teach it, right? Because heaven is high and the emperor is far away." So yeah, I was never, and I think generally in China, when people are looking at the system or whatever, they're like, "Does this need to happen? Is this needed?" And a lot of Chinese will not interfere. They see something that's against the rules or whatever, they're like, well, it's fulfilling a need, then I'm just gonna overlook it, right? But I wanna. I'm so annoyed by this. I don't know if you heard me. Uh, I'm gonna send a chat message. You there? Is that you, Jay? Because I have some interesting. Oh, let's see. Oh, it wants me to log in. I can't. I can't even answer. Um, yeah, so I was teaching computer animation and illegally teaching English a lot. I actually got to write and publish a children's English book, and I actually published a computer animation book um, in the Chinese language while I was there. But the propaganda thing, yeah, two of my graduate students that took my sort of informal Western propaganda course, they got significant awards with their final projects or whatever, and they there were two girls. They were uncomfortable with what I taught, because if you teach the way propaganda went in the United States, there was uh, this Freudian thing where propaganda in the United States, they changed the name to public relations, right? Sigmund Freud was not making any money and in bad shape, and his nephew brought him over here, and there was this big psychoanalytic movement, and it was like it really affect psychoanalysis. It really was used in the West as a way to control people and as a way to get them to buy stuff, consumerism, right? And then later on, it went to this behaviorism, right? Um, and the psychoanalytic movement, yeah, it still has a lasting impact. It affected the literary theory and everything. The successor, the big successor to Freud was Jacques Lacan, and Freud had this thing about castration, fear of castration, um, and it's in Lacanian theory, instead of like castration avoidance, there's sort of like a castration acceptance. And in the course of my discussion, where I had been making a case of a relationship between basic barbaric human behavior that's prevalent because it has been historically successful, not because it's right. uh, it may be that Christianity and its ideology has functioned as a linguistic structure that's a rationalization for behavior that existed before Christianity existed. Barbaric and violent behavior, tribal behavior that can be found in chimpanzees. Um, and that the big war that's continuing to this day with between fascism and communism is really, it's a new rationale that has emerged it's a new linguistic, very elaborate and linguistic construct to rationalize behavior that's prevalent because it has been historically successful, and it's going to cease to be successful because now we have enough science to blow the whole planet up. But the interesting thing about my propaganda class is Chinese people are pretty very reserved about uh, sexuality, and there's sort of when I was there was kind of a sexual revolution going on. Um, Woohoo! You bet there was. Okay, but naughty, naughty. But I often, and I'm not a big enough expert, but I often had the impression that the contemporary prudishness that you see um, in Chinese thought, like when I say it's difficult for them, it's like when I have these graduate students that are girls and they're studying about Freud and all the phallic symbolism and castration and all this stuff. They're like, I don't want to, I can't. It's oh god. And I'll give an example. There's a movie, The Swordsman 2, which was directed by Xu Ke, right? And we say Tsui Hark, right? And it was really popular when it came out. It was a big worldwide success. Well, yeah, we have a lot of evidence that there's phallic symbolism and castration symbolism in the narrative, and it really worked for him. And that was one of the things. Xu Ke had done this, and I would be able. This is a Hong Kong movie, right? So I was in mainland, and people there's some ill feeling behind the history behind that as well. So but they're like we can't work with this thing of symbolizing yeah. But what they really picked up on was Pavlov, the influence of Pavlov, and how the physical response, um, uh, the way you put it in you want to sell something, you put a girl in a bikini on top of it, right? And this was the thing that happened in the decades after World War II. They had all this industry, and they want to switch the industry over to consumer products, right? Instead of military people, there's all this big car thing going, right? Do people really need a car? Why not have a city designed where people can walk around, everything's close together and stuff like that? Do you really need to drive all? Well, what they did is they had the surf movement, right? And it was just a great, do this trend where, well, since we're talking about surfing, right? Naturally, all the girls have to just have on bikinis, right? And we just put them on the cars or whatever. And then before long, all the men, they don't even need to see the bikini girl. They see the car and they're like, right? The car has nothing to do with a bikini girl, right? It's just the Pavlov thing, right? The physical sexual response to this motor vehicle has been generated by this association that was created by the ad industry. And so the students that were very successful in my program, they did their propaganda projects or whatever, ad campaigns, PR campaigns, and really at that time, in Southwest China, people were like public relations. Gongongguanqi. It was something new, It's like they didn't know about Edward Bernays and the history of it in the United States. So it was a big thing, and I think it was an overall positive contribution. Well, I don't. The problem I feel like with contemporary China is the typical oligarchy problem, where you produce all this wealth, and then hey, and then people get rich, right? And then the issues that the rich people have to deal with become so far removed from the average, the predominant amount of population that this, as Aristotle called it, the perversion of oligarchy emerges. Um, he calls it a perversion of aristocracy. I think I have to go back and read his politics again, but uh, that's my concern is that China has produced all this wealth, and they're a thermonuclear armed state. So you better not slip up, because if China Chinese politics, I will say, has traditionally been very uncompromising. If there's a dynastic shift, it's a terrible cataclysm. Think of the Taiping Rebellion, 70 million people dead. Right. Think of the Mongols. Right. 60 million people in Eurasia killed. Right. Uh, we do not want to destabilize a thermonuclear armed state. Thermonuclear weapons are far more powerful than bombs that were detonated at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So much more powerful that you need like a magnifying glass to even see the Hiroshima mushroom cloud compared to the mushroom clouds you get from these H bombs, which are fission fusion fission bombs, right? And not only that, but if you have a big breakdown of these big industrialized, then you're going to get release of a lot of toxic waste. In particular, I'm very concerned. I'm a very strong advocate against war and advocate for peace. Uh, and this business of threatening uh, Russia relentlessly with all these weapons and all the things that were done, like they're never going to let them go. Eventually, after all these years trying to push into the Ukraine, and the Russians said, look, after what happened with the Nazis coming into Crimea or whatever, we're going to fight. If you push us too far, we're going to fight. And if you help and we have scholars in the United States now that are like, this whole problem with Ukraine is the United States' fault. You can listen to their lectures, and if you understand the people in the culture enough, you'll see that it's clear from their point of view the United States is responsible for the conflict in the Ukraine. They're threatening Russia, and I had taken the position that don't send arms over there. Now, relating that to the danger that's involved is by threatening Russia so much, Russia ended up with a lot of nuclear weapons, right? They did, and you don't want to maintain those. It's a big economic drain and everything like that. And they ended up with a lot of plutonium for the manufacture of nuclear weapons, right? Separated plutonium, which is you get more of a little bit of nuclear energy out of those bombs when they're made out of plutonium than U-235. But Russia, because they had huge amounts of commercially separated plutonium, they wanted to come up with some way to integrate it into the modernization of their economy. How do you integrate nuclear weapons into an industrial economy? Well, with a breeder reactor. And what a breeder reactor does is you run the reactor. It's a different kind of reactor that has a different characteristic of the neutron field, but you jacket it with nuclear material that in the course of the reactor cycle, when you reprocess the spent fuel, you get a net gain in the production of plutonium, right? So that's why it's called a plutonium breeder reactor. Well, we fought in the United States against the adoption of mixed oxide fuel plants, and I think we won. And I think they didn't want the cost of it as well. And the American public was really against it. But the United States government had agreed with Russia that we were both going to kind of neutralize all the plutonium as a process of disarmament. So Russia went ahead, true to their word, and they developed BNR fast flux breeder reactors, which they're scary. You do not want one to blow up. And it can blow up. And the thing about plutonium, I don't mean to scare people, but plutonium is the most carcinogenic substance known to man. You have a huge Chernobyl-like meltdown, it's going to cause untold suffering and death, right? And it very much worries. Well, I don't think you should be under stress. I don't think anybody should ever be under stress or worry, right? One of the things, as a Jewish person, I turn back to um, Ecclesiastes, the book it's attributed to Solomon. It may not have been written by Solomon, but many people think it was written by Solomon. And he was like, "There's no afterlife." Oh, I got to go take care of my daughter. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Over here. Hurry, hurry, hurry. All right, there you go. All right. Good. I'm almost back. You want something to eat? Oh boy, how'd you get there? You want to stay up there? Okay, you call me when you're ready. What do you want? Oh, you want square cereal? Okay, okay, I'll get you square cereal. Okay, now try not to spill it there. Call me when you need more. Huh? What? What? Too few? How's that? I don't know what we're gonna do when that cereal runs out. Here. Okay. All right. When you're ready for some more, you call me. What? You want to get down? Did you say you want to get down? You want to play some Roblox? Okay. Okay.
It was a speaker.
delicious. Okay. All right. Can I get back on? See, live stream. All right. So, here, there you go. There's the folks at home. Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Okay, I gotta play Roblox. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna have to start Roblox. Okay. Okay. So, bing. Here comes. That's the Roblox. Can I get some? It's too bright. What am I supposed? This is. You got you got to tell me where I'm. You got when you open your thing. We'll find out exactly where we need to go, and then we're gonna play some Roblox. You got to put in your password, I think, dear. Okay. Okay, good. Now put it in. Amazing. She saw the caps lock is on message, right? And she's like, "Help!" And she hit the caps lock off and then put her password in. Good. Very smart. Good. And I'm gonna get the Roblox thing, but yeah. These BNR reactors. I think you can see some tours of the fast flux beta reactors on YouTube. But that's terrible. If plutonium is nasty anyway. Um, we don't want war, and I got a lot of flack. Oh, hello, dear. You calling us? This is my wife coming in. Hey. This is my wife calling out. She's got a camera that she watches us with. She's at her office. Um, make sure we're not naughty, but she hasn't picked the Roblox game that she wants yet. But what? Hey, I see Barry Beast, and I wanted to acknowledge you. Thanks for tuning in. Agar IO Big Eyeball Games. Okay, let's see. Agar, this one here. Okay, so this is it's not on my thing, but I actually I'm gonna see how it goes. I may switch to. You're gonna eat me first? Oh no, you gonna. I don't even know. Blob eating simulator is what this is. It's Agar IO. And what I need to do is I need to see if nickname. Okay, it's gonna be Kudo Wojo Dad. That's me. All right, I'm getting Roblox music, which worries me. Play.
Dad, you have to wait for me.
I'm sorry, I don't know why it's moving. Where are you? Kudawojo, where are you? This is an interesting game. Let me see if I can. Well, no, now I can't. Well, yeah, I can. Sometimes she'll get upset if I don't do it the way exactly right. So let's see. I'm gonna try to close this. Okay, yeah. So that actually worked out. Okay. So here I am. This is like really crappy. I don't know. My wife is like blah, 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 on the phone. I can't hear her, understand her. I don't want to call because she doesn't answer the phone. How come I can't eat this green one here?
Because it's bigger than you.
Oh, okay. So I got to get all the little ones, right? All right. So here we are. All right. So uh, there's a lot of things to talk about with respect to the issue. There's so much obfuscation around nuclear that it's like it's really a chore to even begin any kind of rational discussion about what's going on with it. It's not a good situation. It's not a solution, for example, to fossil fuel. Uh, because uh,
Even
the
good.
okay, a little bit about my background. I had the great fortune to work with Craig Kerslis, who's the son of Stan Kerslis. He worked for me in computer repair at Georgia State University, and very brilliant man. And his father, Stan, yeah, he worked on the Manhattan Project, and they're from Lithuania, right? And when the Manhattan Project was going on, the Manhattan Project was the project in the United States for the development of the first nuclear weapons that were made in the United States. And I was very interested. I'm a mathematics. I have a science degree in mathematics, and I was very interested in nuclear, and I was hostile to nuclear power for
Whoa, you got one of team.
yeah, it's cool. That once you get a bigger green one, yeah, where she's going around and I'm going around. I wonder where she is. Can I hit these guys? No, see, I can't get. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, this is interesting. There's a funny story about me getting interested in nuclear stuff, but I was always hostile to it. I don't want to go into digress too much with but that's part of attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity, and stuff like that. But let's just say I was very interested in nuclear, and I really got to know Stan. Spent a lot of time talking with him. And he had a debilitating stroke that left him bedridden, and all he could do was just look at you. He couldn't talk or anything like that. Um, and his story about was when he got the interview, they were like concerned because he's like from commie land or something. He's from he's a Lithuanian, right? And so he's in the interview, and an alarm goes off. True story. Alarm goes off and people are running, and so he's shouting and say UF6 leak, UF6 leak, and Stan looks at the interviewer and he's like, UF6, you're working on fission. And they said, well, we have to hire you now. So they hired him, and I have a lot of stories about Stan, but he was like, yeah, this whole nuclear power thing is such bullshit. He's like, it's just an excuse to get get money and get the public money. It's like the reactors. You think there's no fossil fuel involved in the concrete of a reactor cooling tower, the production of the concrete and the rebar, the steel, and all that stuff? That there's no fossil fuel emissions there? How moronic is that? There's a big, oh, look at me, I got a big crowd of them now. So there's a big fossil fuel debt, and also, what are you going to do when they wear out? You just got this big, huge mess. And what he told me, and this is the thing they're trying to revive the whole nuclear power thing, is he said, we found alloys for reactor fuel where you could make these much smaller, safer power facilities. Much cheaper, much less dangerous, or whatever. But nobody's going to do that because there's not big money in it. They want some. The concrete companies are going to push for something Hoover Dam, like some big massive thing like that, and they're gonna produce all kinds of pollution, and they're gonna do it all kludgy and messed up. And here's a guy that worked on the first atom bomb, and he's like, man, we figured out ways to do these nuclear power plants small, efficient, certain alloy of fuel. It's less dangerous. It produces less nasty waste. And I don't completely trust him. His wife died of leukemia. Uh, and you get that physicist, it's a phenomena when you know a whole lot about something, you tend to be pretty cavalier about things that you don't know much about. Biological things, for example, in the case of nuclear, it's like a person like a nuclear scientist in a lab would just shake off, not take exposure to ionizing radiation, especially low level ionizing radiation, very seriously. They don't. But it's actually very serious. Biologists will take it much more seriously than a nuclear scientist will. It's like, I don't feel any different. You don't feel any different now, but you just wait. You get all kind of tumors and shit, and yeah, it's going to be a big mess. So, one of the problems of nuclear power is that, yeah, it, it's inherently producing stuff you can make a nuclear weapon from. And I'd like to segue into a little bit of discussion of the mass energy equivalence. And what I like to say about it is this. I believe one of the problems in Georgia schools is that you're not doing anything. Like they've separated the science and the math curriculum. And then they try to convince you in science class that there's no math involved in science, which is really, I've had to face this where, you literally have this where the students, want to rebel. Time alive, 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Cells eaten, food eaten, 502 score, 447.
Can I eat you?
Somebody ate me.
Please, can I eat you?
I'll let you eat me up if you want to eat me up. But I don't know where you are. How can you
I'm
find?
up here.
Let me go. You want me to go this way? I'm just trying to deal with it. It's the sky. Okay. I'm trying to find you there. I wish I could zoom out, But yeah, I'm just
Oh,
going
you
to.
got team.
Yeah, you got some teams. Good.
6 of them.
Good. Good. It's awesome. I don't know. It seems like you keep going forever this way. Okay, mass energy equivalence. Well, E equals mc squared. All right, well, I should, as having a math degree, I should be able to do the derivation of the mass energy equivalence in my head. I don't think it's very complicated. But what does it say? It says the mass, which is measured typically MKS in kilograms. In physics, we generally use MK. E equals mc squared. This mass energy equivalence inspired Einstein to write a letter, I guess, to Roosevelt saying, you guys, you better watch out. If the Germans get this, it's going to be bad, right? Right? Because E equals mc squared. All right. Now, I think that E equals mc squared is perfectly fine for a fifth grader in any school, even lower, to do some calculations. And I'm going to give you an example. Okay. Well, I like to talk about it this way. We have E equals mc squared. We're going to look at it. We're going to compare. We're going to take a ratio of a 15 kiloton yield of the Hiroshima bomb
Hey, that's me.
versus all the energy indicated present, nuclear energy indicated present by E equals mc squared. M is the mass, right? So just for grins and giggles, we'll take a 60 kilogram mass because that's very close to how many kilograms of fissile material were in the Hiroshima bomb. About 60 kilograms. Right? It's actually 64, I think, but I'm doing it to make the math easy. You'll see how this works as I go along with that. Well, Okay, an important thing is like being able to recognize.
I already died. Let's play another game.
Oh, okay. She wants to play
I
now.
already died.
Well, I died too. We all have to die sometime. Leave.
I already died.
Okay, we can play another game. All right, we'll play another game. So you find the game, and then we'll play it.
This one.
Okay, hold on. Mass energy equivalence. Okay, so M is going to just be 60. We can put the kilograms out of our mind for a minute. I love you too, right? Okay. Well, then what is C? C is the speed of light. Okay, what is that? Well, it's about 300. Well, yeah, it's very close to 300 million meters per second. Right, 300 million meters per second. Now, zeros. It's important in American numbers or in Western numbers to realize that we count thousands, right?
Don't press the button 3.
Don't press the button 3. This one here?
Yes.
Okay, so let me get up here. All right. Okay, don't press the button number 3. Okay, it's coming up. I'm going to have to get more on the ball here with this. But, okay, mass energy equivalence. Hold on. Is it this one? No. It's this one. Oh, wait. There. Okay. Here I am. Okay. So, yeah. 300 million. Now, 8 zeros. Why? Notice, what do I mean when I say that we count thousands, right? Well, what a million is 1,000 thousandths, right? So if you have 6 zeros, you have a million, right? Because it's 1,000 thousandths. Now 1,000 thousandths is a billion, right? So whenever you're looking at zeros, you want to divide by 3 and then count up whatever the result is from 0, right? So 6 zeros, since it's 1,000 thousandths, is going to be 1 million. 9 zeros is going to be a billion. Okay, where do we go, dear?
Right here.
Oh, okay, I'm trying to follow you. Okay, let's see, where she go? Okay. Oh, there she's jumping. Okay, so yeah, okay. Now we're talking about 300 million. Okay, now notice that since we count thousands, we'll go a million, 10 million, 100 million, and then we'll have a 1,000 million, which is going to be a billion. All right. Bink-a-dink-a-dink. Bink-a-dink-a-dink. Wow. Can I jump up and down here like a crazy person? All right. So 300 million, that means we've got a quick way to do it is you got 6 zeros, right? The 6 zeros has got to be a million, right? Well, 100 of those means 2 more zeros. 6 plus 2 is 8 zeros. So 300 million meters per second is the speed of light. So we're trying to do mc squared to get an energy, a level of energy that the mass energy equivalence indicates is there. Yeah, I've joined. Your Kudawojo dad has joined the experience. Yeah, cool. We're here. We're going around. Where's a button that we can not push? Hug. Oh, that's my baby girl. Yeah, sweetie, honey. Okay, so 300 million, but we don't. That's the speed of light. 300 million meters per second. It's actually 299,000 or something like that. But we're just doing it so it'll be easy. Any fifth grader could do it. Or should be able to do it, right? Okay, so you square that. Well, 10 times 10, you have 2 zeros in that, right? So 10 times 10 is 100. I mean, you can draw out all that multiplication stuff, but really, you really just need to know the add up the zeros. Okay, that means 10 times 100, I just count the zeros. I have 5 zeros, right? So that's 100,000, right? So if I have 300 million, right, all I do is I know I've got 6. Yep.
Look, I found a secret tunnel.
Oh, yeah? How do you get in there? Do you press this button over here?
No, you have to walk through it.
Oh, you walk through it? Oh. We're in the parking lot. Can we steal somebody's 8-track player?
No.
Yeah, you're right. They probably don't have 8 tracks in here anymore. Probably don't know what that is. 8-track. Uh, wow. A Mercedes. A slave labor.
I can
Nazi.
steal his motorcycle. And I
Um,
can play with his motorcycle.
yeah. Wow, it's a cool
Let's play
motorcycle.
with his motorcycle.
Break it? I can't.
Yeah, that's what I
How do I'm supposed to jump on it? Oh, jumping on it, jumping on it, jumping on it. I don't know how to break it, dear. Don't let me get her upset. One
It's made
sec.
of metal.
It's metal. It's tough. Okay, so where else? Why did they make it secret? I wonder if there's some way to open the door. There's a secret door. Oh my goodness. And there's a secret stairway. My
Oh, a gem.
and oh, a secret piano and a secret hallway. Wow, it's amazing. Hold on. What is over here? Where did you go? I can't find you anymore. Is this
I am in the gym.
see if I can't walk through that. Okay. Okay. Well,
Here's a door.
yeah, you're in the gym.
Yes.
Okay, this is the parking lot, and what is this the gym over here? Yeah, it is. Hey, you are in the gym. Okay, let's get on the treadmill. Dum ba dum ba dum. Okay, Daddy needs to do this in real life. I want to stream from my treadmill for the first time. I'm gonna do it. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, what do do you? And I make a mistake with this too, but you have 300 million meters per second. You want to square it. Well, there's a 3 in front, so that's going to be a 9, and it's going to be followed by 16 zeros. Well, 16 divided by 3 is 5 with a remainder of 1, right? Why? Because 3 times 5 is 15. That's 15 zeros, so I have a remainder of 1 for 16 zeros, right? So you have a 9 in front and 16 zeros. What is that? You have 5 groups. That means you're in. If you have 5 groups, that means that you're in the quadrillions. But you have 10 of 9. A 9-0 since there's a 9 in front, right? And you can do this on paper, but you shouldn't have to do it on paper. You know, it's 90 quadrillion. All right. So if you got a mass of 60, right? That means you're going to have 17 zeros, right? With what in front? 54, right? And I'm pretty sure that is going to be 5 quintillion, 4 quadrillion joules of energy. Now, what is a joule? It's a unit in physics which is kilogram meters per second squared. When something is changing into a new equilibrium state, you get a release of energy, right? So, for example, a gas range, if you run a gas stove,
Played all these button games before.
cool, that's awesome. All right, so your gas stove is going to be about 2,500 joules, kilogram meters per second squared, the fire or whatever, the energy that's being released. 2,500 per minute, I guess. Is watts per minute or per second? I forget. I have to look it up. But it's compared to the nuclear energy and the mass energy equivalents. A gas stove is like an ice cube, or even worse. You know, it's like very frozen. No, it's not. It's not any measurable amount of energy next to a number that huge. Okay, so I want to go back over this. I have hyperactivity, right? I had said that if we have what I had said before is I said if we have 300 million meters per second, right, and we square that, we're going to have meters squared per second squared, but it's going to be 9 with 16 zeros because there's 8 zeros behind the 300 million, right? 6 plus 2, right? All right, so there's going to be 16 zeros. You have a remainder of 1 with a 9 in front. It's divisible. So that's 90 quadrillion. You multiply that times 60, right? You're going to add another 0. So it's going to be 17 zeros. So that's 5 with a remainder of 2, right? So 2 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 with a rem that pushes. You've got 17 zeros. You got 54 with 17 zeros behind it. Shouldn't that be five? Uh, uh, 5 quintillion, 4 quadrillion joules of energy in a 60 kilogram mass. Okay, now we're at the point where we can compare the kiloton yield of 15 kilotons in the Hiroshima bomb as a ratio to the to see what percentage, like a test score for a nuclear, the power of a nuclear weapon, for the mass energy equivalence. Well, the theoretical total nuclear energy bound up in the 60 kilogram mass that we've just discovered is 5 quintillion, 4 quadrillion joules of energy. Okay, well, you have a 15 kiloton bomb. The first thing you need to do is you need to convert kilotons
Mommy,
to
look at
joules.
the fire
So the conversion factor for that is going to be something like 4.184 E12.
Dad!
Yeah, but stand by the fire.
Yes.
Okay, I'm standing by the fire, woman. Okay, but and I'm not sure. I'm not. Well, I know what I always do is I talk about it as four. Yeah, yeah. We got to convert a kiloton yield to joules, right? And in order to do that, there's a conversion factor. Okay, she's gonna take over now. Okay, you gotta do this one up here. What are you doing? This is our. You don't have a camera on your on your computer right now. It doesn't have a camera right now. So we're seeing my camera, right? You see, okay, all right. So don't take my word for it, but you can check. It's 4.184 E12,
Okay.
which basically, for the sake of making it a simple computation, what I do is I say, just call that 4. 4E12, 4 with 12 zeros. Okay, so you take that 4 times the 15 kilotons. Well, what you're going to do is you want to have 15 kilotons. So, okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna be right back. I gotta go get her something. You want water? You want cold chocolate milk or hot chocolate milk? Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna try to get back as soon as I can. I need to do this process of getting her chocolate milk heated. Yeah, I know, dear. But Daddy has to get the cup and heat it in the porcelain cup.
Because I'm a bigger?
Here, sweetie. There's your chocolate milk. Delicious chocolate almond milk. I'm a big advocate for chocolate. I mean, chocolate should be not made by slave labor. I'm concerned about that. A lot of it is made by slave labor. But in terms of the medicinal value of chocolate, help. All right. Okay, back in the saddle again. Back where an Indian's your friend. Ow. Please, can I? Okay. Hold on. Break my leg off there. Get this together. Okay, so where were we? We got 5 quintillion for quadrillion joules of energy, and we're going to put that in our denominator, right? That's the theoretical amount of energy, nuclear energy in a 60 kilogram mass. 5.4 E17, I think that would be. All right, so 5.4 times 10 to the 17th power. Put that in the denominator. Then you got a 15 kiloton yield in the numerator. Okay, 15 kilotons, right? We have 4. Okay, we got to go to a new game. Oh, trying to get out. Where? Leave. Leave. Okay. And close this. Okay, so we're going to see where we're going. All right. Play natural.
No.
I'm not doing nothing, dear. I'm waiting for you. You tell me where I'm supposed to.
Let's play elevator game.
Well, I will play whatever you tell me to play. So, so we type EL. That's what she's typing. ELE. Elevator games. This really stimulates her to type. I'm so glad of that. Elevator games. Okay, so we're coming up with the elevator games now. This is like, let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah.
The door.
Which one?
The door.
The door. The door. 1 million plus visits. 1 million people have been in here. Wow. So E equals MC squared. I've got 15 kilotons, right? Is 15,000 tons of TNT.
Is it my birthday?
I don't know. Is it your birthday? Am I supposed to hit play? I'm waiting for you, dear. You tell me what to do. I don't want her to get upset.
Play.
Hit play?
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we go. Now. Click the door to open it. Who knows what's on the other side? We gotta go in there? Oh, the audio on this is just, makes me want to just thrill. Actually, it makes me want to turn down the desktop audio really low. It's very annoying. How come everybody's trying to go in there? What is this? Yeah, this reminds me of my job.
I found Elvis Schlickbox.
All right. 15 kilotons, right? Well, that's since there are 4 E12 joules to the kiloton, right? We multiplied that by 4 to give 60. Um, since it's 4E12, and we add another 0, that's E13, right? So and we've got E13, which is times 10 to the 13 power, and in the numerator, and E17 in the denominator, right? So that's gives us 10 to the minus 4. Where? In here?
Yes.
Oh, it's a birthday party.
Please get a birthday cake.
Click on it.
Yes.
Okay, I got birthday cake. Birthday. Can I get more than one?
Yes.
Get as many as possible.
It's gone.
Okay. Help! I'm trying to get out. Can I teleport? I don't know. Well, that was yeah, birthday. Yeah. Where's my cake? Okay. So if I hit 1, what if I hit 2
Roughly.
or 3? Yeah. Yeah, man, this is just awesome. Man. I'm like, oh, okay. But what are the coefficients? Well, so we got 5.4 E17 in the denominator and 6 E13 in the numerator. So 6 over 5.4 is 1.1, right? Times 10 to the minus 4, which is basically 1 times 10 to the minus 4. Okay, what is that? Well, the joules cancel out, right? So you're left with like a test score out of out of all the energy that was there, your test score, how much did you get out of the Hiroshima bomb? Well, 1.1 times 10 to the minus 4 is of 1% of all the nuclear energy. Yeah.
Zero gravity.
Wow, zero gravity. Wow, that's a big word she's got. Zero gravity. See, your child can learn about zero gravity in Roblox, right? She's like, what is that? How do I describe that? Well, weightlessness is. That's also called weightlessness, dear. Can you say weightlessness? Weightlessness means zero gravity, right? Where are you, stuck in the ceiling or something? You are stuck in the ceiling. Be careful, dear. Don't fall down. All right, man, I feel great with this cake. Strawberry looks like strawberry layer cake. That's what it looks like.
Ooh, I found a secret.
But it's probably just some food coloring, right? Sugar encrusted food coloring, if that. Uh, Chemically engineered. You think it's sugar, but it's not. Oh, wait. It's the Among Us guy. Is he gonna kill me? Help!
No.
Ah! Oh, did I just die? I'm in this strange cubic thingamajigger of the whatchamabob. I don't know what it is. Oh, how did that happen?
Look, the sugar's getting bigger.
Mm,
Sugar's getting bigger.
Okay, all right. Eat your croissant. Oh, there's Kudawoji. You got a jetpack? Man, how'd you get that jetpack? I want that. How you get a jetpack? What? Is it over here? Shop? No.
Look.
I need to
There's a secret
adjust.
passway.
So if you have 1% times 10 to the minus 4, that's of 1%, 1/10,000th of 1% of the nuclear energy present as indicated by the mass energy equivalence. So we're talking about extremely big numbers when we're dealing with nuclear energy or nuclear weapons or whatever. If you get a little bit of the energy out, it's actually in human terms very
Plug, it's my birthday. Plug.
I'm locked out. What is it? Oh, you fall. You
What's in
try
the
to get.
door? What's in the door?
You gotta go in there. Okay. Uh, that's a
Cake.
cake. I gotta get the cake. Get the cake. Let's see. One. Get the cake. Get the cake. Get the cake. Get the cake. I'm getting all the cake. I'm getting.
I
Ah!
got only 4 cakes.
Uh,
I got 4 cakes.
all right. You got all. You grab all the cakes. That's a good teaching about how to get diabetes. That's what we're learning today on Roblox. But
What? That's unfair.
this is weird. That's surreal.
Chicken's getting bigger. It got squeezed out.
Oh, ow. What happened to me? Oh, my head is stuck in the wall. Help. Is there some secret passage I can. A hole in the collision mesh? I'm assuming that there's a collision mesh or something. Is everybody crowding in here? Is that what's going on?
No.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I can't get up without the jetpack. How do I get in there? Oh, there we go. Okay, now I can climb. Good. All right, so yeah, a nuclear weapon like the Hiroshima, um, got about yeah. And you can do a precise calculation if you wanna actually be really precise and use 4.184 times 10 to the 12th power for your kiloton conversion to joules to get your ratio. But I think one of the problems with school in Georgia in particular is that I tried to tell them. I was like, get kids to do something. Here's something they can do. It's required that they know powers of 10 and they know fractions and they know units and like they never make it to units, buddy. They never do. They're like, this is what are you talking about? Quarts, pints, ounces? This is just too much. I can't handle it. And I'm like, my daughter already, she said a billion thousand when she was like 3, right? And I was like, yeah, you want, that's how much experience points she wants. And I'm like, yeah, you should just say not a billion thousand, but 1,000 billion. And 1,000 billion is a trillion. Isn't that right, Freya? Isn't 1,000 billion a trillion? She's too focused on the game. She's really going places, and I can't even play it. I'm stuck in here, and uh, there's no excuse. How do I get out? Okay, maybe I should just escape and reload. I don't know how.
Please reset.
Reset? Do I reset? Is that what I need to do to get out? Or okay, okay, there you go. You wait till it goes until it goes. You gotta wait till it becomes transparent or
I
something.
got the trophy.
All right, she did get the trophy. Her trophy is like spouting all these colorful glitter stuff. It's awesome. I can't get through there.
And close it.
Ah, I fell. I fell off the edge of the world. Okay, there. Oh, Kudawojo, how'd you get turned upside down like that? That's interesting. Okay, we got to cram in here again. Okay, we're gonna go in here. All right. Up. Ah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Now I did something with the coefficient there that I think was, and you notice how I said, well, we have 6 in the numerator. The coefficient is 6 in the numerator and 5.4 in the denominator. So we got 5.4 E17 in the denominator, and we've got in the numerator 6e13, because we had a 60 there in the conversion. We had another 0. So 13, 17, right? 13 in the numerator. That 17 in the denominator is going to give us e minus 4, right? Times 10 to the negative 4 power. But how did I get the 1.1? Think about that. 6 divided by, what I did is I said 6 divided by 5.4, right? And this comes up all the time in scientific notation. Um, uh,
Help. It got divided by 10.
Clearly 6 divided by 5.4 is close to 1. It's because 5.4 is close to 6, right? You got 6 in the numerator, so it's a little bit bigger than 1. But how did I get precisely? And I think it's actually 1.11111111. It goes on forever. I have to think about it for a second. But what I'm doing there to go 6 divided by 5.4 is, for all practical purposes, 1.1 in my level of interest. Well, think about it for a second. There's a common factor of 6 in the numerator and the denominator, right? Because 6 times 0.9 is 5.4, right? So I factor out the 6 and I have a 0.9 in the denominator. Well, 0.9 in the denominator is a fraction 9/10, right? So if I've got 1 divided by 9/10, right? That's 1 times 10/9, right? You invert and multiply. They have all these kind of things. So, 1 divided by 9/10, of course, is getting bigger. When you divide by a fraction, you're getting bigger. So, if you measure out a gallon of ketchup, divide it by teaspoons, you get a much bigger number, right? Let me in here. Come on. Let me in. Okay. I clicked on it. Where are we? I'm jealous. You gotta. Oh, and the sun is frowning on us. Is this where those girls were? Is it? I'm sinking in the quicksand. Help. I'm climbing the pyramid. Wow, this is cool.
I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
I win.
Okay.
Ow, ow. It's a spiky. I'm hot. I'm on fire.
This is weird. No.
I'm
Tripping.
on fire.
I sort of like the view.
Fire. I am on fire.
Oh, really?
Yes, because it was burning at the sun.
Oh my God. Is that what the sun does up here? It catches us on fire?
Yes.
Alright.
Thing is on fire.
Now, I wonder, I'm glad I still have some cake in case
Dad, you're
I'm
on
hungry.
fire. Please, you're on fire, Dad.
Ow! What shall I do?
You have to go in the water.
Go in the water?
Yes,
Where is the water?
right here. It's right here.
Oh, okay. I see it splashing around over there. I'm coming. This is the funnest thing I've ever done. Let's see. Maybe. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, how's your jetpack doing here? Oh! Oh! The dream is over.
What happened to it? What happened to these guys?
Come on, let me in the door. Come on, click on it. Click on it. Click on it. Let me in. Come on, click. We're trying to get in. We're trying to bust in the door. Come on. Bum rush the show. Yo. Bum rush. Bum rush the show. Okay, well, I'm going in. Oh. Where are we? Oh, it changed to a different place. That's cool. We've been in here before, haven't we? Oh, so what is that? Okay, can I do anything with these? I don't know if I can. Click. I can click them and change the color.
Mojo Dad was
My
The Mojo Dad was the
Mm.
Mojo was
10/9 is going to be 1.1. All right.
But below 10
One ninth. 1/9. If you do that, you're going to get the 0.1111111111. It goes on forever.
Oh, I'm stuck.
Um,
I know I'm stuck.
so yeah, it's 1.1 or just one. You know. So, um,
This is nothing.
um, I wonder if I could, what we started out with. We started with a 60 kilogram mass, right?
So it gets
And
bigger.
E equals mc squared to get an energy unit in joules.
Get the baby fish.
So we have the speed of light squared is 300 million meters per second. All right, so you want to square that. You're going to have 9 out front with 16 zeros because 300 million has 8 zeros. 9 with 16 zeros is you take to get that in words. Can I get in here or not?
Not.
Okay. Up. 16 divided by 3 is 5. So you're in the with a remainder of 1. So you have 9 0 and 5 groups of 3 zeros.
We have found together.
That's 90 quadrillion.
Okay.
90 quadrillion times 60 is 5.4 E17. Put that in the denominator. Okay, that's your how much you got for a 60 kilogram mass. For a Hiroshima bomb, you got a 15 kiloton yield. You can say 4E12 is the conversion factor to convert kilotons to joules. So you have joules in the numerator and joules in the denominator. Well, you've got 6E13 in the numerator and 5.4 E17 in the denominator. It's going to give you 1.1 times 10 to the minus 4. So the score for the Hiroshima bomb is of the nuclear energy in the weapon, in the mass, the material in the weapon, 60 kilogram mass. You got of 1% of that. You got 1/10,000th. You got 1/10,000th of 1%, right? So it would be if you had a test, they would just say you got 0. You got 0 nuclear energy out of it. I wasn't closing it. Oh, it's a frog. Do we get to kiss the frog? Is it the frog prince?
Yes.
I don't want to kiss him. Oh, you click on. I clicked on him and you dropped me through the floor and I'm dying. Help. Okay. This is just, I don't know what to say. I'm just having the most incredible experience in here. It's amazing. Yeah. So what a thermonuclear weapon does? Well, okay. First of all, the simplicity of a nuclear weapon. That's why.
Go in.
Okay, I'm trying to come in. All right.
Dad, come
Oh my goodness, help.
in. Go up here.
Okay, how do I get on there? Help,
I think go.
help, join, up, help. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I'm a noob. Help, I'm a noob.
We had to go here.
I'm trying. There. Okay. So I'm going up here. Up. Okay, I made up. I'm here.
Dad, come here.
Who is this? Ah!
You did it.
Please, dear. I don't know how to play every game. I'm not super expert. I'm in trouble now. You got it. Can we try it again? Okay. They're gonna see my bald head. Help! Oh, everybody's gonna laugh at me. I feel better. You let it all out. I'm sorry, folks. Would you like a piece of chocolate? Okay, let me get you a piece of chocolate here. Oh. I'm sorry. I can't play every game like a genius. I don't know exactly what you want. You want onions? You want everything?
Yes.
Okay. You can have everything. Got some delicious salmon fish here. Would you like some of that?
Yes.
Yes? Let me heat that up.
I can't even. I want it.
Ouch.
Why did you make it so fast? You didn't say it. Why?
I don't know.
Why did you do it? Why did you do it? Why did you do it? Why did you do it?
Do what? I don't know what I did. Ouch. This is too hot. Let's see. I need some fork. Mmm, delicious fish. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And I really want to get out of this game. I sure do. After that, skip. Alright. Um, oops. Alright. And this is a thing, I don't, it's like I see some of these uh, parents that are like trying to be the next Ryan, with their kid on. Wow, that's really good. Mm. I'm gonna cover it back up, otherwise I'll eat it. Let me just save it for her. She's right down here, laying on that. I have like a little on the. My wife doesn't like it, but um um I put down a comforter on the floor as if it's like a bed, and then put the chairs on it and stuff like that. Cause yeah, sometimes kids, just need to they just need to lay down and take a break for everything. And there's a nice little and if we do well with not getting food on it and spilling stuff on it, clean it up and wash it every week. Um, or if we do really good and it's really looking clean or whatever like that, I won't wash all that stuff, or I'll do it week and a half or two. Um, because it's a big the power bill. So I'm still in the doghouse, so I gotta cope with that. Oh well. But yeah, there. This is very delicious. Let's try it. Come on, come on. It's gonna be so good. Here, do you like it? Very delicious salmon that my wonderful beloved wife prepared. Um, Sweetie, where'd she go? Don't you want another delicious bite of salmon? Here, here. Yummy, yummy, yummy. That's very good. Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. I saw some parents like giving their kid, "You're not doing it right," or something like that. They're trying to be the next Ryan or whatever. I'm not trying to do that. I just want her to um, learn and to enjoy learning, right? And I know that when I was at um, that elementary school in East Point for a couple of years, she wasn't. She was just watching YouTube Kids, and I didn't really plan for that to happen, but once once they're on YouTube Kids for a year or something like that, there's no going back. So
Dad,
we
we have to
engage with.
play Roblox.
Well, I'm scared to play Roblox because you got so mad at me. Can you not get mad at me? Promise?
Can I put? Can I? Can can we play? Can we buy the yes no button?
Yeah, just tell me where to go. The yes no button game, and I'll go. I got my fingers crossed.
Dad,
Yeah,
we play Roblox.
I am playing Roblox. You just want to see it? Is that what you need? Stop. Stop. What do you want me to do, dear? Oh.
You have to move.
Are we going to a different game?
No.
All right. If you get mad at me again, see you got a trophy. There's no reason for you to yell at me. Wish you wouldn't do that. Mm. And people will criticize me and say I'm too
Dad, you have
indulgent.
me.
Well, yeah, I am. I am too indulgent, but it is what it is.
Close.
Am I doing something wrong? Tell me. Um, oh, wait a minute. Can I get this? We're like super weightless now. Can I?
But I can see Mercury and the sun.
We're in outer space. So yeah, if you've got some uranium or whatever, what you do is well, I mean, basically what was done with um, the Fat Man, I think it was called, or no, the Little Boy, is that they make a cannon, right? And you can, I mean, you can see this on Wikipedia. You got two pieces of uranium, and uranium has some unstable nuclei, right? So if you assemble a big enough mass of uranium together, you've got enough neutrons for supercriticality. A criticality is where you get a sustain. A critical mass is where you get a sustained release of nuclear energy, right? Usually, when that starts to
Now
happen,
go to the noob.
where
You go here and there and see the law.
I'm sorry. I hope I don't get in trouble again.
And please don't make me mad.
Well, you shouldn't get mad ever. That hurts you. It also hurts me. It's not good for your little brain. Yeah, children should not.
I'm on the fire.
Oops.
Ah.
Don't take things so seriously. And people struggle with anger. I get angry sometimes too. Um, but really, when you're certified that it causes harm to your brain to get angry, you take not getting angry a little bit more seriously. Yeah, that's
I
right.
love you guys.
I love you too. I'm so happy that you love me.
Oh, Sam.
Mm-mm. Okay, let's have a little bit more salmon. Here you go. It's yummy. Very good.
I'm full.
You're full.
Yeah.
Okay. And close it up. Oh, careful. You drink some chocolate milk? No. Full? Okay. Yeah, so what I was saying is like the way you get your couple of pieces of uranium, a big enough mass for supercriticality, and the atom bomb is it's basically a cannon where you're going to slam the two pieces together really hard. So basically, you take a cannon and you seal up the other end. It's like a cannon that's completely closed, right? Because you're trying to hold it together. When you release that much energies of that magnitude, a nuclear weapon, the problem is you can't keep it assembled together close enough to continue to get that much. It's gonna blow up. Okay. So you slam it
Daddy,
together.
Shrek is getting them bigger.
Shrek is getting bigger.
Yes.
Oh, I'm scared. What's he gonna do when he get? Oh, he kill me? He killed me. You can't touch him. I didn't know that. This is weird.
Yes. Get it.
Oops.
Oh,
Oh no. Ha ha. I'm still there.
good. He's gonna kill you.
Ah. Yeah. So you blast it. You have your cannonball is gonna slam the pieces of uranium together, right? And since it's sealed up for a brief instant, it's going to hold that together, and you get a little bit of the nuclear energy. It comes out a little 1/10,000th of 1%. Yeah. What is that? You?
Among Us. Among Us. Sus.
Is he going to kill me? Is he going to turn into a monster or something? Oh, you are. She is the Among Us. She changed into the Among Us.
I know.
Ah, You're not supposed to touch the car, I guess.
Because it's dirty.
Because it's dirty?
Yes,
Oh, dear.
that's what I touched. I'm gonna do
This is weird. Oh, my goodness. What? Oh. Ah.
Ow!
Mm-mm-mm.
I'm gonna get out of the cave.
I have yet to play Among Us. At my school, all the kids played it. Haven't you played it, Mr. McBride?
Let's play another game.
Okay, let's play another game. Escape.
Elevator.
Leave.
Among Us elevator. Among Us elevator. Among Us elevator. Among Us elevator. Among Us elevator.
The Among Us elevator? Is it this one?
Yes.
You sure?
Oi, 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 oi. Yes.
Is that the one?
Yes.
Ow, dear, you're hurting Daddy's leg by doing that. Be a little bit gentle. When you bump into somebody really hard, it hurts. Nuke. Okay. Speaking of nukes, yeah.
Daddy,
Yeah.
go in the elevator.
Okay, where is it?
Right here. It's right here.
Okay.
Come, Dad.
Here.
Come, Dad.
Coming. Trying to.
It got close.
All right.
Oh God, look at these. Look at these guys. These guys.
Oh no. What?
Tough on me. Big wig. Big wig. Big wig. Big wig. I'm on top of big wig.
Yeah.
Let's get a nuke. Let's get in a nuke. Nuke. Let's get in a nuke. It's a nuke.
So plutonium is something that gets
A
produced.
nuke.
Okay. It gets produced in reactors, and that's one of the reasons I'm kind of against nuclear power generally. Is you're producing all this plutonium, and it's very nasty stuff, and it's hard to dispose of. It's dangerous, and so many more. It's chemically toxic as well as being easy to make a nuclear weapon with it. And people say, now, it was such a big lie that
Among Us.
nuclear weapons are that complicated. They're not. You just take the material and you blast it together really hard, and you get a little bit of the nuclear energy out. And it just so happens that there's so much nuclear energy in there that you get a little tiny bit of the nuclear energy out, and it like levels a city. Because why? Equals MC squared.
Among Us like it. It says nuke on me. Ah, noobs! Noobs! Ah, noobs!
This is absolutely fascinating.
Noobs! These
Yeah.
noobs!
They're noobs? Is that what they are?
Run from the noobs!
Help, noobs! Help. Okay, I'm getting some kind of my phone alarm is going off. I need to see what day it is. Yeah, good. All right. Yeah, tomorrow hopefully it's going to be a little bit. Wow.
Flying, flying, it hurt. Ah,
Help.
I'm glitched.
I'm pretty glitched too right now.
Totally.
I gotta, sweetie, I gotta get the phone. Oh, careful. Okay, let's play. Trying to play Roblox, Jerry. That's what we're doing. And I'm not scared of you with your big old axe. You don't scare me none. You seem like a retarded pumpkin guy anyway.
You're a big one, but you have no hair. You're big head, but you have no
Yeah,
hair.
I walk right through you. So you're nothing but a bunch of smoke and mirrors. That's all you are. If I jump on your axe, will it kill me? Doesn't seem to do anything. Uh-huh. Noobs, help.
Hum, hum.
I can't get out. Huh. Let me out.
Don't kill me. I want to be on a big wig.
Oh.
Please, be on a big wig.
What do you want me to do?
Be on a big wig.
Where?
I'm here.
Can't say. Oh.
So you won't die.
Can't get up there. How'd you get up there?
You have to like jump up. I can't see anymore. Too dark. I can't see anyone. Too dark. It's too dark. I can't see. Oh.
This is weird. Alright. So, and I haven't looked at it. When I was, I guess, pretty little, about 12, that's when I first read about thermonuclear weapons. And what an atom bomb is just a fission bomb, which means that you take some uranium or plutonium or something, and you slam it together really hard, and you get 1/10,000th of 1%. It's enough to level a city. And that there was always this big lie that that's a big scientific feat. It's not much of a scientific feat. Oh no, I'm gonna get squished. Help! The walls are closing in. It's not really a big scientific feat. Nope. Careful. She falls down. I'm sorry, I didn't get my points.
I got a lot of points.
But yeah, if you get some heavy hydrogen or whatever, an unstable isotope of I think it's called tritium. You produce some of that, and then the atom bomb itself. What you do is you set the atom bomb off with the purpose of imploding onto your heavy hydrogen, your tritium, and infusing
You died.
yeah, people do that. Um, when you do the fusion, you get this really big energy release, huge energy release, and you jacket your thermonuclear weapon with You jacket your thermonuclear weapon with.
It's kind of different.
Okay.
Look, what astronaut?
I see over there. Yeah. The feminist. What is this? Little feminists. Let's see. Marie Curie, Sally Ride, Amelia Earhart, and Billie Jean King. Billie Jean King played tennis and proved that girls can win. Amelia Earhart flew airplanes and showed that girls can go anywhere. Sally Ride explored space and showed that girls shine bright. And Marie Curie experimented and proved that girls are brilliant. Pioneers, feminist pioneers. Feminist pioneers. Good. Feminist pioneers, yeah. Marie Curie and Billie Jean King. Come up with that, yeah. Guys are scrounging there, it seems like. I wouldn't group those together. But anyway. I guess it's good. It's they can get something that somebody can identify with by having a big range. A sports person, a pilot, an astronaut, a scientist. Right? Girls can do all those things. That's right. I like the little series. Yeah, we have some fun with that. But yeah, thermonuclear weapon. What you do is you create a fission explosion and use the fission explosion to cause a fusion explosion, which then precipitates another fission explosion, and your overall yield is orders of magnitude bigger. So as I said before, your we were talking Hiroshima, 15 kilotons. Our thermonuclear weapons are represented. The energy release is represented in millions of tons of TNT or megatons, right? So, yeah, it's nasty. You don't want to do that. Am I supposed to be scared? I don't know. I don't feel scared. Grab. Okay, let's see. Hit that E key. Grab. It's not working up. Oh.
See?
Sorry. I'm sorry. Well, I need to have a little bit of a break. I'm getting in the position that I'm sitting in at this computer. I get a little bit of a twinge in my shoulder, so I'm gonna take a break from this. So I'm gonna try to come back and have more educational stuff and fun, crazy stuff. So like and subscribe, thanks, and tell your friends that there's this dude that knows about nuclear energy and stuff.